Have you ever looked back at a decision and thought, damn, that one moment, that one decision changed everything? For me, it was a house called Townley. I didn't know it at the time. To be very honest with you, I was super nervous because this was my first rental property investment I was ever gonna do. And I was reading up on bigger pockets and I was freaking out and I was like, oh shit, if I ruin this, I'll be done. I'll never recover. And that's a scary thing for any investor, even when you've done it over and over again, because you never want the next one to be the one you finally mess up. As for this house, it was just this busted up little 2-bedroom house in a decent neighborhood. And I thought, I think I can get good rent on this that will be greater than the mortgage payment. And that's really all long-term investing was when it all started. I didn't know a lick about rehab, design, anything. I just knew that no matter what, I could see that the rent rate would probably be here as long as I do a decent job on the rehab, and the mortgage cost was about here, and this gap here was the middle where the profit would be made. And I thought there's a good chance I'll make those numbers work, and worst case, it'll be a break even. Again, this was nothing flashy. Our purchase price was only $58,500. I know you can't get that same deal, but you can get similar margins still. And honestly, it just looked like a pre-foreclosure. It looked unkept, kind of ugly. The whole house felt janky. Floors weren't great, kitchen wasn't great, paint wasn't great, light fixtures kind of sucked. So what we did was we got in there, we refinished the floors, we redid the paint, fixed some of the light fixtures, fixed a couple of the faucets in the bathroom and in the kitchen, and we got it decent. Switched out a couple of appliances, got it on the market, and we got it rented. Now, to be honest with you, I was scared, and maybe more scared than you could have ever imagined, because I still wasn't that confident when I was looking at buying it. So I reached out to one of my best friends. I said, hey, are you interested in this? And he said, actually, I've been waiting for you to reach out to me. I wanted to actually reach out to you sooner and see if you wanted to do something like this. It was a really cool moment. We bought this and we ended up buying 6 others down the road, but that's for another day. So we looked over the numbers one more time. He said, hey, let's go. And we went. And what was the catalyst for this? What actually got me going? Well, I was working as an underwriter at the time and I was seeing all these tax returns with all these people out there that were just buying up rentals. And I didn't realize how many people were making money on rentals. And again, when I would talk to some of them, to be honest with you, they kind of seemed dull. And I was like, I'm not too dull. I'm only slightly dull. So if I'm slightly dull and they're definitely dull, then I probably can make this work. And I'm sorry, I know that sounds really judgmental, but the truth is a lot of people that get into real estate, you don't have to be super smart. You just have to take the risk. That's half the battle. And most of the time that risk, it does pan out. So at first it was just a long-term rental. So what's this got to do with the whole story of why I'm telling you about this first property and that one moment where you go, damn, that changed everything? Well, here it is. That first property ended up just being a long-term rental when I started, and it only made about $400 a month. This was not life-changing, but it was working. And after we split that $400, it was a really nice dinner once a month. But the thing was, it taught me confidence. It taught me that I could do this again and again. And I was like, wow. And again, if I do this with 10 properties, that's potentially $2,000 a month just to me, which is nearly my mortgage cost for my primary home at the time. And I was like, if I'm living for free, and then I thought to myself, if I'm just sitting here living for free and my W-2 is still paying all my fun money and all my go out money and eating money, I'm gonna be in a really good spot. But then I thought, what if I doubled it and I got to 4,000? I'd be in an even better spot. So my whole point was, right after that first one, I started to realize I can go deeper and farther with real estate. And one by one, we took them down and our cash flow kept going up. And what I didn't realize was some of those deals were actually netting us 600 because I was getting sharper at what I was actually targeting on my buy. So instead of getting $200 a month, I was getting $300 a month. And guess what? Not to be a total numbers nerd, but that's 50% more income, which meant I had to buy half as many properties as I was expecting to buy. But it got even better. And then as I got deeper into this and further into my investing career, this thing called Airbnb kept popping up. And I said, what if I tried that? Could it work? It could. Airbnb became a game changer for me. And for all you long-term rental guys out there, I've been there. Trust me, I know you want more net income and this is the way to do it. And for all the people that don't have them yet, it's a great way to start. We turned that same little house into an Airbnb. And 48 hours after going live, we had our very first guest that was set up to stay at that unit. This instantly doubled our net rent on this property and we've never looked back. In fact, right now, we actually are doing midterm rental on this and we have our 3rd month of this guy staying with us. And they're paying us $4,500 a month on this. $4,500 a month on this little 2-bed we bought for less than 60 grand. It's insane. We have no mortgage payment on this thing. This is all profit now for us. And we couldn't have seen that it would have led to this, but we are so glad we started. Now, when we first bought this property, we could have never seen that we were going to end up here, but damn, are we glad. Suddenly, we're making real money on a property that nobody would give a second glance to. They weren't willing to put in the work to rehab this ugly little house. They didn't think it would be valuable. We saw the potential. We created the opportunity, and now we're enjoying the wins from all that work. But here's the thing. It wasn't just the cash that did it for us. And typically you're going to hear me talk about it was the appreciation and it was the tax benefits, and those were also great. But listen, please take this one point. If you have not invested yet, this one property is the whole reason I was able to grow like this. The point here is it was what the house did for me that changed my entire life. It was the inarguable proof. It was the confidence builder. It was the money maker. And no, the $200 a month wasn't enough for me to go, hell yeah, I'm retiring. But God, if I didn't do this first property, all these other opportunities would not have come to me. It gave me confidence. It showed that I could actually be good in this. It showed that I didn't have to be stuck in corporate, that I could create income like out of thin air, that I could build something real and actually be creative. And that belief that turns into reality, that unlocks everything else. Because after Townley, we didn't just get more Airbnbs, we created more businesses, more opportunities, and our confidence to explore other things like hotels became a real thing that we were able to take action on. So let me recap for you what Townley did for me. Townley was my first long-term rental. It was my first partnership. Townley became one of my next short-term rentals. It also created our property management company, the co-hosting company, which my wife now owns and manages, and now she manages this rental for us. And in addition to that, it helped us create a coaching company because we started to figure out some things about Airbnbs that a lot of people weren't doing, and it just made sense to us. So now we have people that are learning it, and now they're growing and they're building their portfolios. And beyond that, people started saying, hey, we want help with design because your design on this is awesome. So we're a design company. And then people are like, hey, we need help setting up properties. So we started creating an Airbnb setup company. So again, over 7 businesses came from this single decision to buy one property that would only make me $200 a month. Now, the biggest risk here that I want to share with you is if I hadn't done that, all these opportunities would have never existed. Oh yeah, number 8, it helped me get into the hotel business. So again, when you start to see all these changes that come from one moment from deciding to become an entrepreneur and a real estate investor, you see how wide and amazing the world can get. I know it's hard to believe, and you deserve it too. And the truth is, there's a lot of dull people that still have success, and you're probably smarter than dull. None of it has to be perfect. I did not get there flawlessly, but what's cool is it can be yours. This is an opportunity you deserve and you can have, because it's not about the house. It's about the person you become when you hit the go button. You'll learn more in 1 month of being an owner than you'll learn in a year or 2 of staying in bigger pockets and dragging your feet on trying to become smart and ready, because that's not how you do it. And put simply, if it's anything like mine, even a simple long-term 2-bedroom house, that very first property is going to change your life in ways you just can't see coming. And we all hear that, don't wait till tomorrow, start today. Jesus, please start today, because you're the only one denying yourself from these opportunities. And I'm telling you, if you get to that point where you've done 1, 2, 10, 20, you're going to think, I only wish I would have done this sooner. And if you think there's a chance you're going to say that, then you definitely need to start today, because you might be just one decision away from getting everything you've been dreaming about.